Have you ever noticed how you can spend a lot of time thinking about something, yet still feel like you're not actually getting anywhere with it? Maybe you're turning it over in your head, looking at it from different angles, trying to be really thoughtful about it, yet somehow you keep ending up right back where you started. Now, if this sounds familiar, please know you're not alone. This comes up a lot in my own life and in my coaching work. And what I find is that it's rarely because someone isn't capable or reflective enough. More often, it actually has to do with the questions that are prompting their thinking. Hello, friend. I am Dr. Laura Miner, a board-certified leadership coach who helps experienced professionals lead themselves well. Why? So that their impact aligns with their intentions. And I do this using the science of self-leadership. And in today's video, we're going to explore how to intentionally use questions as a self-leadership tool. Because shifting the way that you ask your questions is a really powerful method for creating clarity and movement when answers alone aren't getting you the results you need. Now, it intuitively makes sense to look for answers, right? After all, most of us were taught, either directly or indirectly, that progress comes from having the right answers. So when we're looking to solve a problem or address a situation, our instinct is to ask those questions that are directly looking for the answer. Things like, what should I do here? What's the right move? How do I fix this? And those questions make sense, and they're usually asked with the best intentions. But the challenge is that when we reach for answers too quickly, our thinking gets more narrow instead of more broad. We close instead of open. But thankfully, there is another approach to this, and it all comes down to using questions as a tool for learning instead of as a search for certainty. In self-leadership, questions really matter because how you think shapes how you decide, how you act, how you show up over time. And the questions that you come back to again and again, they shape your leadership from the inside out. So learning to ask better, deeper, different types of questions, it actually empowers you in a whole new way. So let's talk about how you can do this in a way that is surprisingly simple, really powerful, and actually super fun. We're going to think about a situation, but we're going to process that using only questions. No answers, no explanations, just questions. So to kick this off, I want you to start by choosing something that you're currently dealing with. It can be big or small, that doesn't really matter. It just needs to be something that feels a bit sticky and needs to be resolved. But instead of trying to solve for it, you're just going to ask as many questions as you can possibly surface about it. And you're going to write them all down one after another so that you have a list to circle back around to later. Maybe ask yourself things like, what am I actually responding to here? What feels unclear about this situation? What assumption might I be making without realizing it? What's my influence and agency right now? Anything that you can think of specific to the situation, and just keep going until you honestly feel like you've run out of questions. Specific, generic, it doesn't matter, just keep going. And then once your question bank is drained from your brain but captured on paper, it is time to read back through your list and see which ones truly stand out for you. Usually, there are 3 to 5 questions that wind up feeling more alive and more clarifying for the situation. These are the types of deeper questions that help you surface better answers. They're the ones worth exploring because they give you something to sit with that helps you see the situation with more clarity. Just keep in mind, this exercise is not about speed. You're not racing through those questions. It's really about depth. And that depth is what keeps you in a learning space, which is one of the most powerful places that a leader can be. By the way, if this approach of leveraging questions to work with your thinking is resonating with you, would you please do me a huge favor and hit that like button? It lets me know that these lessons are landing, and I do need that affirmation, but it also lets YouTube know that these ideas are worth sharing. Okay, so there is one last thought that I want to leave you with. The power of questions shows up when they become a habit. Not a one-time exercise, but rather a different way of engaging with life. And when you consistently ask better questions, patterns start to emerge. And these patterns help you better understand who you are within these situations. But I personally find it's also really helpful to ground this understanding in something a little bit more tangible. That's why at the end of every year, I take a set of assessments that help me get a clear snapshot of where I'm currently standing. They show me things like my strengths. They give me a glimpse into areas that I can strengthen, and that clarity then helps me think more intentionally about where I'm going, what my goals are, and who I need to become in order to make them a reality. It's a deep dive I personally do. It's one I take my clients through. And if you're interested in that reflective deep dive as well, then join me in this video where I will walk you through that process. I'm going to show you how to use those assessments, which, by the way, all of them are psychometrically valid, because here we're fueling success with the science of self-leadership, but they are also free. So I'm going to show you how I use them to prepare for the year ahead and how you can leverage AI to give you even deeper insights with them. All right, my friend, I will see you in the next self-leadership lesson soon.